Hey guys, welcome back to According To. I'm Megan.
And I'm Ciera. For this week's episode, we are back with another Reddit Unpopular Opinions episode. We love doing these episodes. You guys love listening to them, so we're going to keep doing them.
Before we do that, we've got our catch-up, we got our book updates, we have got
just
all of that.
Fun stuff. Okay.
Before we get into the episode.
My weekly spotlight, I have two. One is that we did our first inaugural, Des Moines Beach Day of the summer over the weekend, and it was just so nice. The beach that we typically go to is closed right now because of risen water levels.
Interesting way to word that.
How would you have worded it with that few of words?
Like it was flooded.
Okay.
Risen water levels.
I already had started my sentence, so I just went with what I could come up with. The beach is flooded, and so it is still closed. And there's a couple other beaches in Des Moines. They're just not as close to us as that beach, and so we'd been kind of holding off on seeing if that beach would open sooner rather than later. And
alas, it's not.
It's the end of June. We kind of the weather's nice. We want to do a beach day, so we went to a different beach, and we've got our whole nice setup. And we were talking while getting set up that we really did a great job investing in good.
If you right now are someone who enjoys beach days, but you're kind of raw dogging it with just yourself in a towel, that works for some people. If you're happy and content doing that, I'm happy for you. If you have considered ever in your life getting a beach chair and an umbrella, I'm telling you right now to go make those purchases.
And a
Because they are worth it. Because we even brought a big towel today or yesterday too. And it was we have big towel as our
base
foot mat. Then we have two beach chairs. Cooler acts as our table.
And cooler.
Ideally in the middle, but it was a little wonky yesterday, but whatever. Umbrella wherever it needs to be to shade you.
And honestly, you guys should get umbrellas just because we actually don't need to be in the sun, is what I've determined. I love to be tan as much as the next person. I will, however, not commit to the bit as much as some people. I'm not going and tanning to tan necessarily, in my free time. Mm-hmm. My dad and my mom are both the opposite. They love to tan. They will go bask in the sun. Hopefully with sunscreen. I don't know their skincare habits. I will put sunscreen on even if I'm going to be in the shade just because I know I'm still going to be out in the sun at some point. But what I realized the older I've gotten is that it's not the sun necessarily that I like about being at the beach. That's fun and dandy. But I just want to be warm. And more often than not, the sun makes me more uncomfortable if I'm just having the sun beating down on me, making me sweat.
I can't hard to see anything.
It's really overstimulating. And so with the umbrella, it's blocking me. I'm in the shade. My
less
skin
risk
is
of sunburn.
safe. I'm comfortable. I'm not blinded, and I'm not really sweating that much. So it was an overall amazing, pleasant experience.
I had a speaker with me. Hook that on the umbrella. And what I used to be kind of self-conscious of bringing my own speaker to the beach, and I've kind of come to the realization that
literally no one pays attention to it.
Really can't hear what your music is unless you're right next to it. And that was proven to me again when we did our book club. I had that speaker out. Granted, I didn't have the music on very loud. My intent was for it to be background music. But I was, just sitting on the other side of my deck, and I literally couldn't hear it playing from my speaker. So is that a pro or a con? I don't know, but it was enjoyable at the beach. So,
and then my second highlight, I got a new Dippin' Daisy swimsuit that came today, and so I'm excited to wear it at our next beach day.
I think my weekly spotlight is that I just recently got a lash lift and tint, and I'm liking it more than I thought I would. This is the third one I've gotten, but I feel it's, for whatever reason, I'm liking it the most. I just like how the lashes are looking the best. And I genuinely have just been feeling it kind of looks like I'm actually wearing makeup the past couple days, even though I'm not. And so that's kind of the whole point. And I'm pleased. So
what else did we do this weekend? We did vlog this weekend. So if you want to see all of this, it's our most recent video before. I'm getting confused. We're vlogging this week. It is our most recent video as this podcast goes live. I feel like someone, if I interpreted their comment right, someone commented I think this is like late
post again.
Yeah, and I was
They're
like,
oh, they've caught on.
Sorry.
They've caught on that we're slacking.
We technically
Whenever
don't have a posting date.
I know. But usually, in a perfect world, we post Saturday mornings around 10 a.m. If we're a little delayed, it's Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
However,
if we're really delayed, as we were today, the video went up on Monday. So it is what it is.
which is when we're recording this episode.
Hey, if we get one video up a week, like, that's pretty good.
So we'll try not to make it regular, but we ended up doing a weekend vlog in there.
Our intent was to do a lake vlog. However, we didn't go up to the lake when we had planned on it, when that was a video idea that we had planned on.
And then for whatever reason, like throughout the entire week that we like were trying to film before, I don't know if like we just like weren't in the mood or if I just wasn't in the mood, but I just felt like whatever we were trying to record, because we like were trying to record.
The vlog that we posted was good though.
Like, I know, I like the weekend vlog we did, but I'm saying we tried to record a few things leading up to that, and like it just wasn't working the vibe, for whatever reason. And you know, we don't want to post content that is gonna suck. Hence why we also we're flexible. Our book club video we extended because the original video would have been too short, and it was a much better video. This video was supposed to be a Saturday vlog. It was like it's kind of short. We extended it into a Sunday vlog. We're just trying to put out good content here, so bear with us if it takes a little bit longer.
It's just us two. So
2-woman show. Did some cleaning. I cleaned up my car, which really desperately needed to happen. You guys, how often do you wash your car?
That's because not even I can't even answer you because I don't have a regular answer to that question.
3 times a year or less. That's probably so bad.
3 or 4 maybe.
Like I see these, car wash, subscription stuff that seems like it's every car wash these days.
To be honest,
I'm like, no.
My car rarely gets to a point where I'm walking up to it and I'm like, oh my god, my car needs a car wash. Mm-hmm. And if I'm not thinking that, it's not on my mind.
Yeah. I feel like I need to definitely clean the inside more often than I do, because like the inside does get dirty and need to be cleaned. But the outside, I'm like, it's not that bad. It rains.
Yeah,
nature's free car wash. Did we do anything else this weekend that you think is notable?
Had some things that we were able to fix a little bit around the house. Like our curtain rods were like on the verge of collapsing under our heads, but then we got that sorted out. We started a new show that we may or may not continue. We can always watch the second episode tonight, maybe. I don't know. I'll wait for my book update, but I kind of want to do some reading too. But I also can do that tonight. We started Dark Matter. It's a new show on Apple TV Plus that I think like a few episodes are out, but it is being released like weekly, and I don't know how many total are out right now. But it's based on the book from Blake Crouch. We've both read the book. We both really enjoyed it. What I would love is if instead of picking Dark Matter, they would have done Recursion. But alas, they did not.
If you have not read a Blake Crouch book,
that would be a book I've only read 2.
I
think I would reread it.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I've really even learned to appreciate it more after the fact, but I loved it. And so I would say so far, like, we obviously know what happens in the book, at least like the major plot points, and so far it's gone exactly as I'd expect it to. Mm-hmm. So, but it seems like it's been produced well. So,
should we get into our book updates? Well, first, actually, can we talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
Sure, you might as well.
Like, hello.
We did just post on our according to Instagram. We lost some followers from that, but I thought the engagement, I thought the likes on it speak to itself. That like the true people that wanted to see it, they're liking it. We've talked about how we've grown into becoming Swifties on this podcast. And so, of course, I love anything related to Travis and Taylor, and I can't help but grin like a stupid child when I'm seeing anything about the two of them together. And so when Maggie texts us as I'm sitting on the beach just minding my own business, and she texts a link, I haven't even watched the video yet, but I see it says Travis is on stage at the Eras Tour, and I'm like, what is happening here? So I'm sitting up and I'm like pulling my phone out to show Ciera, being like, what is happening? And we obviously watch it together. It's like hooked up to my speaker because my phone is Bluetooth to my speaker, and we're both just like freaking out because he's on stage. And this was like, she had posted a picture with him. This is like 10 notches above that.
Yeah.
And
like I was like, oh, we got the hard launch on Instagram, and then something I didn't even know was an option was that he could be on stage performing with her. I didn't know that was an option.
And so, I just am still like grinning. And then she posted her recap today with him as well, and even giving him a little shout out in the caption. Right? What'd she say? She's like
swooning and like,
yeah, I was like swooning was the word that I was looking for. So now we patiently await, I hope, a debut of Taylor on his Instagram. I was at the very least, I'm kind of like, I know she doesn't follow anyone, but like, you follow people. Can you just follow her, please?
Please, we're begging.
She's posted you and tagged you twice.
I wonder, like, obviously,
I heard
the Swifties, if they wanted to follow him, would, but like, how many followers do you think he gained in the last?
I think 4 million.
Really?
I think so.
Wow.
I saw this was from like whatever at ET News is on Twitter. I don't know if that's Entertainment Tonight. It might be. So it's like a fairly reputable source. They were saying he rehearsed it the night before, and it was like
really.
It was pretty just like
I will be eager to. Assuming the new Heist episode this week is them.
Did you see like he like shakes her at the beginning of holding on to her?
No.
You need to watch it again and pay attention.
Assuming they recap, I will be sat and tuned in this Wednesday.
I almost like you listen to it first and let me know when they talk about it, because sometimes they really do be like dragging on until actually 75% of the way through the episode.
And then you get Jason being like, all right, Travis, we got to talk about it. It's like, it's been an hour.
And like Jason and Kylie went and did like, their
what
first
else do they have
to
talk about, you know?
Like I am in no way trying to push engagement rumors, but like things seem different is all I'm saying. So
that was not so much a, you know, personal highlight, but just a global
I think highlight, a global highlight, yeah.
So we wanted to shout that out as well. What are your thoughts, just like, because obviously like there's, you know, different like sports outlets and stuff are posting not just him on stage, but like they posted like, oh, Taylor's with Travis and like the royal family.
Yeah.
And people are still like, this is annoying. What do you think?
In a way, it would almost be weird for them not to. Like, I feel like with the royal family too, it's like that's the royal family. Like if Patrick Mahomes went and like met Prince William, I think they would probably post about it too. So I think that it was kind of like that is like, okay, like come on, we have to post about this.
I feel like, I mean, if you look at what these
and it's sports, at the end of the day, social media is all about engagement. Like they are just trying to hop on the engagement train. To be honest.
Well, you even look at, you know, people say like, oh, we don't care about this, and it's like sports broadcasting networks post on their social media like a ton of stuff that like other athletes are doing that like you would probably care less about. You know what I mean? Like, oh, so-and-so is doing this thing.
I feel like the added lore and humanization of any athlete ever, including Travis Kelce, is only making sports more popular for everyone, because I think people are invested in the people and not just the sports.
We're seeing that with women's basketball.
Yeah. Like people are tuning in because they care about the people, and that's what's drawn people in, not just the game of basketball. They know the backstory behind XYZ players. They know the history. They want to see how it's going to play out. So.
Okay. Book updates now.
I feel like we got some fun book updates.
We do. I'm excited.
So.
I feel like I'm like okay, I'm like back. Not that I was out, but I feel like I was lulling with my reading.
I finished up A Curse for True Love. That's the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I gave it 4 stars. I do not really feel like I need to elaborate further. The whole series was a 4-star series for me. You can look up the synopsis and summaries and see if it interests you. But I'm glad to have like finished a series finally and just been like, okay, this one's done.
I just finished. What romance book did I just finish? Oh, The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think I loved it as much as you. I did like the ending. I felt like the beginning was kind of slow, and I wish that they would have sped up a little bit. But overall, it was good. Very light fantasy. If you are a romance reader looking to get into fantasy, like this would be a very easy switch. Now I'm reading 2 books. And
I am also reading 2 books.
One of our books
will be kind of fun to chat about.
So one of our books that we're reading is nonfiction. It's called The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, right?
Yeah.
And
I took a picture of it in Barnes & Noble today because I went and walked around the mall since I got off early. And I was just like, since I knew I wasn't going to buy a book, I was like, let me play a little game of hide and seek. So I found it just for fun.
so the author is some sort of like security, safety guy. I don't really know what his job is. He even like explains it and is like, we do a little bit of everything. So whatever his company is, I don't know, DeBecker and Associates or whatever it is. Basically, it seems like people or the government or companies will come to him to like enhance their safety, figure out like if they've had something already happen, like what could they like beef up in terms of security or like personal awareness, and how can they prevent future things from happening. So this book is mostly targeted.
The reason that we came about this book, because this is kind of like, obviously we don't usually read books like this. I was on a TikTok where a girl was sharing just like kind of a weird off-putting experience she had in a park when she was walking around, and like a guy came up to her. She was basically saying like, why do I attract like weird things and weird people to like come up to me and like make me uncomfortable? And all that being said, I obviously am like looking through the comments as I do with any TikTok I'm looking at, and multiple people in the top comments are saying like, you need to read The Gift of Fear by this author. And so enough people commented it where I was intrigued enough to say like, I need to look this book up and see what it's about and what the ratings are. And it's a fairly popular book, and it had like a 4.18 on Goodreads, I think. And so I was like, I read the little synopsis, seemed interesting enough, so I was like, I'll add this to my want to read and see if I want to give it a try. And I think that it's going to be best suited for me to probably like read a little chapter here and there intermixed with other books, because like I do think all at once it would kind of be a lot and probably get a little bit repetitive. But I'm really enjoying it's, while it's nonfiction and he's sharing real things, it really does feel very narrative, and like the little quote on the cover of the book probably said it best, but I don't know if I can even read the what I'm
pull it up on
looking
the
for.
Goodreads and zoom in on the cover.
No, the one in the bookstore.
Oh.
A how-to book that reads like a thriller, provocative, empowering.
Well, it's because he, we mentioned he has these clients, and he'll share his clients' stories. So you get these actual, like, real-life scenarios of things that have happened that, in that sense, it reads like a thriller, but it's real life, which is scary.
He throws out alarming statistics that you're like, oh, my God.
And so I feel like, we have a primarily female audience that is probably the perfect demographic for this book, and we can't fully endorse it because we haven't finished it yet. But I think that if this is something that intrigues you or interests you, look it up.
The thing on here even said there was like videos that are now related to this book.
Oh, like
little
it said,
what does it say? Watch the new video series, giftoffear.com.
Oh, maybe like self-defense kind of stuff.
I don't really know.
I took a self-defense class.
The reason I'm also initially liking it is because I really feel like, at least so far, the author has honestly given a lot of credit to the people and clients he's working for, even if they've been in those situations, and how he kind of talks about digging deeper and like figuring out the weird behaviors or weird patterns. He's basically trying to reinforce to you like,
your intuition.
You know more than you're letting on, and these little things that you're keying me into that normally wouldn't seem related to what you're talking about, you're including them because you think it is important, and you're not maybe
even though it's
paying them the weight that you need to. And he gives a lot of credit to the people he's helping that they already do know, or like you realize stuff after the fact because you thought about it in the moment, like in the past you just didn't give it the weight it deserved. So I've been liking reading it. I do think I could see, like, nothing he's shared so far has been mind-blowing, so I could certainly see why some people might read this book and think I didn't really get anything out of that. But I feel like at the very least it's entertaining, and two, it's a reminder if, God forbid, we end up in like a weird situation down the line, it just puts further weight on
trusting your gut
and saying, I would rather be more safe and kind of stupid than regret something. This has been a book that I've been like highlighting things he said just as like good one-liners to think about. So
that's our nonfiction read. Then we each have a fiction read that we're rolling with as well. Because I've been reading a couple romances in a row, I wanted a break from romance, and I feel like also coupled with like me being interested in this Gift of Fear book, I was like, I'm ready for like a mystery thriller kind of vibe. And so Charlie Donnelly's one of my current like favorite authors, with like I feel like I've been reading his mystery and thrillers they're not really even thrillers. They're more mystery, like most recently. But even then, it's still been like, I haven't read him since December, I think. And so it's been a hot minute. So I'm currently reading Long Time Gone. What I like about Charlie Donnelly's books is that his chapters are so short. They're like always like on my Kindle, it's like 5 minutes left in the chapter, or like
Love that.
1 minute left in the chapter, 3 minutes left in the chapter. So I'm like, it's very motivating to keep reading. And I also love that he does these like oftentimes dual timeline or multi point of view scenarios where, for example, the book that I'm reading right now, the main character is currently trying to become a medical examiner, and so she just entered into this like either like residency or fellowship, I'm not sure what it is, and she's told she needs to, like, her project is like familial genealogy or something, so she needs to like look more into that. And she was also adopted, and so she's like, oh, to learn more about it, like, I'll like send my DNA for this like online DNA database. And then she's working with some guy to like help her kind of understand it a little bit more and how it's been helping like solve crimes and stuff, I guess. And at the same time, her DNA comes back, and there's like something mysterious about her DNA that is related to a crime that took place in the 90s. And so then it's also like he will always kind of flip back and forth between like something that happened in the past and how it's relevant to the main character in present day. And then like eventually the timelines kind of work out to make sense, and like we kind of uncover stuff from both ends of the spectrum, and it's usually pretty interesting. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only like 75 pages in, but my goal, fingers crossed, I would love to finish both these books by the end of the month.
That would be good. Excuse me. I'm currently reading This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune, and I gotta say, I'm getting really good vibes. I mean, I would say off the bat, but I am like 100 pages in now. But I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't gotten a 5-star feeling yet, but like, I'm right now feeling
You're like grasping for it.
Okay, this could be the territory. This could be the territory, which is really refreshing and nice because I haven't had these feelings with, especially like with just, I mean, just in general, romance. But like a regular romance. So the premise is it kind of goes back and forth between summers in the past and then present timeline. The main female character it starts off in the past, 5 summers ago. The main female character is visiting her friend's hometown on an island, and she ends up getting there before her friend, and without realizing it, hooks up with her best friend's brother. And then she's like, oh no, that was not supposed to happen. That was her friend's like 3rd rule. No falling in love with my brother. So they keep it a secret and don't revisit it. And then present timeline, and they live in Toronto, and the island, her hometown's like not close by. And so her best friend is getting married. She has a freak out, and for whatever reason, kind of like a week before the wedding, runs back to her hometown and is like, you need to come with me. And I don't know why yet. They've tried talking about it. She's trying to be like, why did you run back home a week before your wedding? Did something happen? And she just keeps being like, let's just relax and not worry about it. So
don't worry.
They're back on the island. Her brother's there. And it's slowly jumping between the now timeline, and then it's also going back like 4 summers ago.
Yep.
Back to the present timeline.
3
summers ago. And so I just am liking it because I feel like, first of all, I hate 3rd act breakups. And so I liked that in this book, the thing has already happened. Like the tension point, something happened the last summer she was there that there was a little bit of tension, and like something happened then that I don't know about yet. But I'm kind of like, okay, so now we're kind of just trying to like rebuild is what in my mind I'm thinking. And we'll come to like a happy place at the end. And like what we're working through is like the journey to get there. And I like jumping back and revisiting because they only ever see each other like in the summers that she's there. Otherwise they don't really keep in contact. And so I'm liking it. I like the male main character. His name is Felix. I like him a lot.
Felix, what a name.
Mm-hmm. And then did I say the female main character? Her name's Ashley, but they both have nicknames, so that's how they didn't realize who they were when they met. So I'm hoping to keep flying through that book.
Keep your eyes peeled on her Goodreads. See if
Please
she tosses it a 5-star. Okay.
And then eventually I got to read The Measure before our next book club. But
yeah. Okay.
We have the rest of the episode to get to, don't we?
Yeah, we have unpopular opinions to get to. Okay, I will go first. First unpopular opinion. a movie being old isn't an excuse for spoiling it. What do we think, just like initially before we get into their argument?
I'm sure they're right, but like I do kind of feel like I probably, if a movie's old, I will probably make an assumption that like I can say whatever I want about the movie.
I feel like my initial thought is it depends on how.
It depends on how
like,
pop culture the movie is.
How much of like
culture-y.
if it's Wizard of Oz, and you're like, I haven't seen it. Like, don't tell me. I'm like, oh my god, you have to have seen like the cultural references. Like, there cannot be anything that has not been spoiled yet. You know, in that sense, it's like, what am I to do?
I feel like that's fair.
If it's like, I mean, Inception's not an old movie per se, but like if it's a movie that has like the point of the movie
Or like Interstellar.
is the plot twist,
Yeah.
or like that's the whole point, you know, that's why you would watch it, then I feel like you should be like, have you seen it? You know what I mean?
But neither of those movies, while they're very popular, pop culture is not how I would describe them.
Like,
So,
a lot of people have seen them, but it's not like, oh, like that's an Interstellar
Speaking
reference.
of.
You know what I mean?
Speaking of,
What?
we want to go see a movie soon.
Oh, Bike Riders. I don't even know what it's about.
No idea what it's about. I just know that Austin Butler is in it. So,
That's all.
add it to my list. We were trying to see it.
It was kind of crazy.
Movie theaters must be back or something. I don't know. We were trying to see it. Granted, it was on release day, but still, I didn't know release days were so popular.
We tried three different theaters, and there were no 2 seats. Granted, like in the back sections, I'm not about to go sit in the front 2 sections and crane my neck the entire time. But there were no seats with 2 right next to each other that we could.
So we'll have to
sit
wait.
at. Okay, let's get into this person's narrative. I've heard many people use that flawed argument that if a movie is old and you get it spoiled, then that's your fault for not having watched it. Well, sorry for not being an immortal, being born in 1900 who has religiously watched every movie to ever come out from then to now. Definitely my fault. Seriously, it takes nothing to not spoil a movie. You want to talk about a movie and there is somebody in the room who hasn't seen it? Don't be a jerk and just wait till that person has left the room. It costs you nothing. Okay, that's most of what
I feel like if you're really feeling that strongly about it, make sure you're speaking up and like saying,
like,
hey,
take an onus and say like, I haven't seen that and I want to.
This. I haven't seen this. Please don't spoil it for me.
Like, okay, here's a good example for us. If someone spoiled like Star Wars around you, like, would you be like, I haven't seen it?
No.
Like, I'd be...
To be honest, it could go in one ear and out the other.
I think I have had Star Wars spoiled to me, and I still couldn't tell you
to what happened or what.
Or, like, Avengers. Granted, Avengers isn't that old. I know, like, things here and there, but, like, what has happened?
I literally don't know anything. Those universes, I just, like, there's something about them. It would never stick.
Or, like, Harry Potter. I know some things. You probably know literally nothing. But
I mean, what's there to know? I know he's a wizard.
If someone spoiled something for those, I'd be kind of like, yeah, like, I get it. If I wanted to have seen them that badly, then, like, by now I would have. And they are enough of, like, a cultural... What did I just say?
This is...
Culture?
We can combine words now.
Cultural phenomenon that, like, people can... It's fair game, I feel like, for people to, like, have assumed that those who want to see it will have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know. I'm kind of partial disagreement with this one.
Yeah, I think it's a, if we have an X and Y graph of time it's been out and relevance to pop culture, then I feel like it's got to be in like the old, highly relevant, you can spoil it, and then going the other direction you can't.
Okay, this unpopular opinion, which I don't know if it's that unpopular because this seems very logical to me, but you should not meet anyone in person for the first time at your wedding.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Well, plus ones.
Oh.
How does that work?
Well, I wasn't thinking about plus ones.
Yeah. Well, you forgot they're probably fighting against plus ones.
I have to read. I didn't read any of these. Title says it all. Neither the bride nor groom should meet anyone for the first time in person on their wedding day. It's weird. Here you are celebrating the love of the bride and groom that you just met. That's so weird. This also goes for family. You shouldn't be meeting in-laws at the wedding. That cousin that you were super close with growing up that you haven't seen in a few years that hasn't met your fiance, not invited. The significant other of someone in the bridal party that haven't bothered to meet you, not invited. They're including.
I mean, I feel
Here's
like...
the thing. Plus ones are what make people like going to weddings.
Right. Like, there are going to be people that you invite to a wedding that, like, you are the only person they know. You're not going to hang out with them all night.
You're hardly going to hang out with them at all.
So, I feel like in that sense, then like, yeah, give them a +1 so they have someone to enjoy
your
the
night
night
with.
with. I agree with the fact that like
my
you're changing your tune.
changed my thought.
I agree with the fact that like old forgotten family, I personally don't think you need to invite them. Like
Just
I know
because
in our own family that like weddings have taken place at, they're like, oh, aunt or uncle like so and so like across the country, he's gonna fly in for the wedding. I'm like, who?
If I don't know, then like they don't need to come.
If they show
Like,
up to my
Haley,
wedding and they say, I haven't seen you
sometime
since
Haley
you
needs
were
to send
this
me her
big.
invite list of like at least family, so I can be like, who'd you invite? But I can guarantee my invite list will be smaller than what hers was.
I can guarantee like my.
To be honest, we are so far away from this, you guys. But like, the more I think about my own wedding, the more I'm like, I want it so small and intimate. And then sometimes I go back and forth of being like, no.
We have the issue of just having a naturally large family on our dad's side that it makes it hard to cut down on people.
Mm-hmm. But still,
you know, like if you want it that small and intimate, then it's like, who do you cut out on his side?
I know.
It'd be unfair.
Or have we talked about like kids at weddings and our thoughts? Because why is that kind of feeling like we have?
I don't know.
What are your thoughts on kids at weddings? Because I kind of don't want kids at the wedding.
I think it's unfair to expect parents to be willing to accommodate that. So I think as long as
but I feel like kind of, I would have to pick through and be like, who on my wedding list would that impact? And then, or like an age limit. I don't know. Like, I feel like that could be more feasible.
then people are going to split up their families.
If they don't want to come, they don't have to come.
I mean, that'd be okay
up to me to decide. Because that would be kind of another way to like dwindle things down. You know, is it fair? I don't know, but if it's what I want, then it's what I want.
As long as you accept
I've established that I am the bride that like I would like to send a dress code, possibly with swatches and stuff. As my
Megan is willing to be like our family. I feel like specifically on our dad's side, we'll get you invites, and they'll be like, "Who does she think she is?"
Get this invite, and like, are you guys following it?
And they'll be like, "No."
But
on our dad's side, they'll be like,
"No." What they will either do is completely disregard and just like go
then what do you do?
against my
Send them
wishes,
home?
and they're gonna wear what they're gonna wear anyways, or they might have just 2 brain cells to think she's wanting this. And I could accommodate.
Like, I guess I have a blue button-down and khakis in my closet.
Like, if it at all
sways their decision.
What are they going to do? Say, I'm actually going to wear the worst thing I've ever worn in my life.
No, they'll just completely forget you sent out a dress code.
I just see people who have done that, and I'm like, that instantly has elevated your wedding. At no cost to myself.
Here's the thing,
right?
You.
Like, let's save myself some money. You guys show up looking better. We are gonna.
These pictures are gonna pay for themselves.
There we go.
I mean, I agree with you, and I am not looking against
better.
doing
just
it.
like if everyone's more coordinated, it's going to look cohesive and better.
Yeah, and it's like less work that your decor has to like hold up to. You know, like your guests are the decor.
Yes.
At that point. I mean, I agree with you.
I love an idea of like a cocktail party hour around a pool, but that would probably be dangerous. But like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want the Hamptons Cape Cod vibe, but like.
In Iowa. Good luck.
I'll figure it out later.
So, final thoughts. I was like, what is this about? +1s. I think that is unpopular because I feel like most people, it's not so much +1s. I think that you should be able to like have people at your wedding that you haven't met if they're a guest or someone else.
Feel free to say, basically like how close are you to the people? +1s are okay.
Yeah.
But if
the
there are
invites that you're sending out, you have to know them or like have seen them within the past reasonably like 5 years,
even,
you know,
that, yeah,
like assuming that sometimes distance and like finances are holding you back from having seen them. Okay, I think that's a good thing. Invites go to people you've seen within the past 5 years, and then +1s are just a +1. You need not have met them. Okay, next one. As a single guy, I prefer that women do not give me compliments unless they are romantically interested in me.
My guess, I just want to go into his mind for a second. I'm going to interpret that he thinks it's hard to read someone's interest based off of a compliment, which, like, might be fair.
And so he doesn't want to do any of the digging.
And so he doesn't want to do any of the mental working of figuring out if someone's interested or not. That's why he's saying this. But, like, what if we just lived in a world where, like, you never got compliments at all unless people were interested in you. I feel like that'd be a sad world.
I'll read his further thoughts. And then I'll probably also read some comments for this one too. He said, personally, I don't care for compliments that are from either a girl that I'm not interested in or a dude. I think you should word that as girls that are not interested in you. But whatever. I digress. I have a fulfilled social life with plenty of friends, and if I wanted platonic interaction, I could get it easily. Okay, no new friends. My goodness. What I'm looking for at this point in my life is a girl who is romantically interested in me, and getting compliments from a girl only to find out that she's just trying to be friends is annoying.
Or friendly.
Maybe she doesn't want to be a friend.
Maybe she's just
Maybe
saying,
she's like,
hey,
oh, cool shirt.
I have a thing where I give a compliment once a day.
Or like, you know, some people are
God
like,
forbid she picks you.
if I think something nice, then I have to say it out loud. Some people live by that standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry for them trying to spread joy and kindness in the world.
And honestly,
someone said this is a great way to never get any compliments.
All he has to say is thank you and move on.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, okay, here's why this also doesn't work. So then,
how are you going to find out then?
You say you want compliments from someone who is interested.
How will you know? Is
now
your
what?
follow-up question to every single person asking you,
can I date
can I
you?
get your number?
They'd be like, oh,
my God.
I'm a little taken aback.
Wow.
So I feel like, I mean, this is your opinion. So are you entitled to it? Yes. Is it unpopular? I would say for sure. And probably also a little bit misguided.
Unless you had any other comments you were going to read.
No.
This next one is gift cards are the best gifts.
You know what's funny? I like any gift card besides like a Starbucks gift card or Barnes & Noble. Like those two, I
feel like it really has
for.
to be, it has to be like, if someone has like two top places that you know for sure they're going to be spending their money at those places, then I'd say go for it. Because prior to my Starbucks and Barnes & Noble obsession, I kind of don't love gift cards. And I maybe still would say I don't like gift cards a lot because I just feel like I forget about the fact that I have them.
I understand in theory like why they would make the perfect gift, because then it's giving like money for the person to spend on whatever they want to in a place they know they're going to want to spend money. But like I just
and
like
it
you
encourages
said,
them, like
forget
instead of
about
cash, it encourages someone to feel like go buy something for yourself instead of just like getting cash. But I would kind of rather have the cash sometimes, unless it was for me Barnes & Noble or Starbucks. But for someone else, it could be whatever.
Did they have any thoughts beyond what we shared about why gift cards are the best? Like I get like if someone gives me like a McDonald's gift card, I'm like I'll probably use it, but
it's gonna take a while. Most people I know think that gift cards are impersonal, but they are the best kind of gift. You get to spend money whenever and pick out exactly what you like. Also, gift cards never expire.
Some of them do.
So
some of them in the store will be like, if it's not spent by this date, we're taking the money and you don't get to use it. Next one. Karaoke is better with the vocals of the original singer included.
Yes.
I agree.
Wholeheartedly agree. I realized I actually don't like karaoke bars when we went to that one karaoke bar
in Iowa City.
The idea, I was like, oh, this is fun. But I was like, I actually much rather prefer a DJ
and
then playing
just
music
like going to a bar that like
being
was
able
just
to
playing
just sing music.
I don't want to hear myself sing. That's what I realized. I want to sing. I don't want to hear myself sing.
And also, like if people keep requesting songs you don't really like that much, versus like a lot of bars are gonna play like popular songs that like, I mean, I am not hard to please. I like a lot of popular songs. So if they're doing that, then I will probably be happy. But at karaoke, you can get like just, you know, a lot of different genres, a lot of options, and they literally don't have the vocals at all sometimes, and then I am less comfortable joining in and singing.
This is funny because the person's reasoning behind this is like so not our reason. When I sing along to songs on the radio as I'm driving, it sounds like I'm a pretty good singer. However, when I go out to karaoke, people seem to prefer turning off the vocals of the original singer, leaving only the background melody. Here's the thing though, I suspect the technology used to remove the vocals is imperfect, meaning that in addition to removing the vocals, a portion of the melody also gets removed. The result, even if you're a fine singer, is a lackluster song that usually sounds off. I'm like, oh, so
She's like, I'm not really having the full...
She's like, I sound better than this. Or he. So we agree for different reasons. Someone said, for most people, karaoke is less about showing musical prowess or making something that sounds good to listen to, and more about the social aspect.
Something that I only briefly, like, I wouldn't say I was looking into doing this for us, but I found out it was a thing. In New York City, there's quite a few karaoke bars that you can, like, rent a private karaoke room, usually like, for, like, 8 people, and then you're just, like, in a private karaoke room.
See, but couldn't you do that at home?
But it's not the same.
But, like, in that theory, wouldn't ours be better? Because we just pull up, like, the actual song, and then it's not the melody that's turned off?
I'm just saying that I found that out, okay?
There's that in Des Moines?
No, in New York City.
Oh, okay. No, I knew about that. Yeah. So I agree with this. Do you think this is unpopular?
I kind of feel like no. I think everyone would rather sing with the song.
Okay.
Okay, this one, they said, acronyms don't make it easier. I've been doing a lot of courses lately because I'm switching careers. I've had to undertake a first aid course and a couple of other similar ones. Something that keeps popping up is the acronyms. I am never going to remember these acronyms. Teach me the system and I'll be far more able to remember that in the heat of the moment rather than having to figure out which acronym goes with this situation and try to remember what that means.
Do you know 100% what this reminds me of?
The cranial nerves? No?
No. Do you remember that book that we had to read?
Oh my God.
Conversations. What were they called?
With purpose?
It's like
Conversations with... Oh God, that was insane. That was actually insane.
Basically, for Crucial Conversations is the book. We had to read it for PT school. And there were so many acronyms in that book.
Actually, it was like, if
ridiculous.
I wanted to understand this page that I read, let me go flip back.
No.
And I have to find what these 5 acronyms mean. And they kept saying, just remember this acronym.
Remember? STAR. And then STAR is, the S is
It
speed,
was insane.
which is another acronym for something else. I was like, oh my God. I couldn't tell you anything I learned in that book. Which is funny because like when I was reading it, I was like, oh yeah, like I get it. But then like, it's so not applicable unless you like legit study that thing cover to cover.
I can't pull from it in a, like, I have never thought of that book since I finished reading it, is what I'll say.
No. It was genuinely, it got like frustrating to read because I was like, wow, this would make a lot more sense if I remember what the acronym
but I don't care enough to go look at it, so I won't.
It was so insane. So that's what that made me think of. Beyond that, I like a good acronym.
I think acronyms can be helpful. And for the most part, I kind of feel like you have to pick and choose which ones are going to matter to you. Like when I was studying, like there's things where it's just like I need a jumping off point to get my brain going. Cranial nerves, for example, is like one thing. It's technically like a saying, so it's like it's not an acronym. It's like a, what's it called?
What is that called?
What is that called? Where you like use a sentence to come up with something.
Mnemonic?
I don't remember. Yes. You have to pick and choose what's going to work for you. I feel like mnemonics honestly are better than acronyms.
Because I agree. I think they are too.
First of all, they're easier to remember. Like a full sentence, it just sticks a little better than like letters.
Letters in a single word. Yeah. I think they have their time and place.
Do you ever think just like this is me just like thinking thoughts? I'm like, since being out of school, don't you ever just think like, dang, I don't use my brain at all like I used to? Like,
I tell Megan all the time, I miss the girl that I was when I was in neuroanatomy. That is the smartest I have ever been in my life. It's the smartest I will ever be. I will never be her again. But I miss her. She was so smart.
Sometimes I'm like, dang, I was really in it when I was in school, and like
right.
I just don't flex my brain muscles the way I used to.
We get different, clinical life is a different realm.
Yeah.
Gotta give ourselves credit where credit's due. Next one I have is I hate the Olympics.
Why?
Someone said, we watched the Olympics, both winter and summer versions growing up. Back then I enjoyed it. Now it's a close second to an election year. Constant ads, programming interruptions, and all sorts of manufactured drama. Streaming has helped with both, but it's still a major disruption.
I love the Olympics. I honestly feel like it's really not felt like an Olympic year. Like, it feels so downplayed this year.
I feel like the bad thing about streaming is that it's
less like
it's
globalized.
less like this is the Olympics.
Yeah, it's like NBC. This is the only thing. Even though like that might still be the only thing they play. I don't know. The Olympics haven't started yet, but I do feel like it's just harder with streaming now and it being so much easier to watch things live. The people who like are really in it, like what I liked, I felt like it used to be a lot more like the camaraderie of like everyone's watching it like now and living in it right now. And maybe it was just when
maybe we were younger and so like we didn't know.
Change, maybe like ignorance was part of it. Maybe part of it was like, I don't know if the time change made it still so it was like watchable at a reasonable time or during prime time. I don't really know. Okay. But right now, and like this is how I felt for the last Olympics too, even it's just like it's such weird hours to watch it live, but like you want to know what's happening live. Otherwise
like
it's old
5-6 a.m. watching the team final. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was like, I had to get ready to drive like an hour to or 45 minutes to my clinical to be there at 7, so I'm like already up. Like I had to be up then anyways, but I was trying to like watch it on my phone and I was like, I really have to like leave soon, so I was trying to like listen in my car to what was going on.
I'm gonna genuinely, we have a TV in our therapy gym. I'm gonna be like, we gotta turn this on, like Olympics on all day.
I'm gonna be in the
and I'm gonna be dragging every person down to the therapy gym. That's my plan.
I should plan on doing that, although there's TVs not in our gym.
I mean, but the common area's gotta have the Olympics on, right? So even if you're on the common area,
yeah,
you can see what's going on. So yeah, hard disagree with this. I would say this is unpopular.
I need to figure out the
brings everyone together.
I need to figure out like when are they going to be competing most commonly.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, my next one. Yucking others' yum is far and away the worst bit of online slang to gain popularity. The sentence is pure cringe, just sounds so absolutely childish and goofy. I've never once seen it used in a context that wasn't also a user taking a really out there stance and trying to act like it was socially normal.
I mean, I don't love the phrase, but I don't know what else I
sometimes
would use.
Feel like it's exactly what I need to say, though. Like, I like the food connotation because it's like,
I like it.
I like, exactly. I get enjoyment out of this thing. This is my yum. And you're yucking.
And you don't have to like it. You know, everyone has different food tastes.
Yeah. So I don't care if you don't like said thing.
But you don't have to say you don't like it. Don't yuck my yum. No, I think it's fine. I think that, like, it's just when someone says it, you know exactly what they mean. Like, what else would you say?
And I feel
in
like
that concise of a phrase, what would you say? You don't have to like it.
Don't be a Debbie Downer.
Like, okay.
That's what people used to say. Don't be such a Debbie Downer.
But I feel like that's not even, like, that could be in so many different contexts. Like, just someone being, like, negative. This is you saying, you don't have to like what I like. I just like it. But you don't have to say you don't like it.
I don't know.
And see how wordy that was when I just said that? Don't yuck my yum. Like, it is so easy to say that.
4 words.
Okay. Next one. I really enjoy plane turbulence.
Ooh.
They said, I love the excitement of plane turbulence. It's thrilling. In a weird way, it also makes me feel safer. Like the plane can shake this much and everyone is still fine. I'm like, I need to do some mental gymnastics and like reframe it. I hate turbulence.
You know what's funny is how I always think of it is like,
I try to think of those Jell-O demonstrations every time.
Anytime there's turbulence and we get back to like a flat line, I'm like, we're at baseline again. Like
that whole thing didn't matter.
I'm like, so that's over and done with, but we are back at a baseline now.
No, I think that too.
And then, okay, we'll reset. If
nothing
like
bad sometimes happens, this doesn't make any sense. Anyone who like studies air and wind in the sky is going to say that doesn't make sense. But sometimes I'm like, we're going so fast. We're not even like, what I just got scared of is so far behind us right now. But I'm like, the wind is still like hitting the plane. There's still turbulence. So I don't know.
I think the thing that provides me the most comfort at the end of the day is kind of just like the flight attendants and the pilots, like they want to get home too. And like that is the biggest, like they're going to do what needs to be done to keep us safe. And like they are so used to this.
I know. So I always try, you know what I hate though? When it's like it's turbulent and the pilot's like comes on the speaker and he's like, flight attendants, please like sit down and stop cabin service or whatever. I'm getting kind of bumpy, and I'm like, oh my god,
it's getting
how bumpy it's
serious.
gonna be. Like if they're still up and walking around, I'm like, okay, we're fine. You know that when Jason Sudeikis was like, I looked to Lisa Blue, like she's a flight attendant. I looked to my flight attendants and I'm like, are we good? I really hate turbulence. My palms get sweaty. I'm just like sitting when it's like really bad. All I can do is like sit, close my eyes, and like hold on to like the armrest and be like, okay, we're just waiting this out. We're writing it out. Literally.
When it gets really bad, I quite literally can't do anything else. Like I can't be reading. I can't be.
That's part of the reason why I love to sleep on planes if I can. Is because I'm just like, if I'm out, unless it's like really bad turbulence, like I don't think I would wake up, and then I don't know about turbulence. So that's my life hack.
Let's see what else I got. Okay, this one says, ice watering down any drink is lovely. The title as is. I feel like after drinking anything for a while, I would like it to be a bit watered down, and having something watered down and colder is the perfect thing for me.
I'm not going to yuck your yum.
But you did bring it to my attention.
I disagree. I wonder if this person had like watered down fruit juice growing up or something when they're like, oh, it's just like too much. Like I hate when my drinks get watered down.
Yeah. I don't like watered down
I desire
drinks.
it at the given concentration that it is. Like I think like Coke is what I drink. I mean, if I have like a strawberry refresher, that's like something where it's like, okay, there's water built into that. And so there are sometimes, most of the time, I like it to be a little bit more concentrated, but there are some times where I'm like, this might be a little too much.
Let me drink a little bit and add some more water to it.
So, but yeah, I would say very rarely. I can't think of any other situation where I'm like, I want it to be more watery.
Yeah.
Okay, this one. Pickles do not belong on burgers. A warm, soggy pickle on a burger? No, thank you. There's a time and a place for pickles, and it is not on a burger. You cannot tell me that you like a sour burger, and you cannot tell me that you like hot, floppy pickles. And I do like pickles, or no, I said I do like pineapple on my pizza. Thank you.
I don't know what makes my taste buds the way they are, because I don't like pickles as a general statement. I will sometimes have them on my hamburgers and cheeseburgers. Only ever from a restaurant. I'm never putting a pickle on my own personal homemade cheeseburger. And then I feel like at a restaurant, it usually kind of depends on how in the way the pickle is. If it is really causing a scene or just asking to be taken out, then I will remove it. But at McDonald's, I generally like them in. But then, where were we at? I didn't remove the pickle, but like this would have been my definition of like a more... No, I think it was at Steak and Shake.
Oh.
They had two like long crust pickles that were half hanging out of the burger. I mean, it was begging to be taken out.
I feel like for your burgers, like whatever's hanging out that you wouldn't eat on its own,
draws my attention
like,
to it, and I'm like, bye.
It has
Same
to be
with like
hidden within the
an
burger.
overwhelming amount of onions, it's coming out.
Versus
then,
like
McDonald's, they got those nice cute little, it's chopped up, blends right in.
I feel like the older I've gotten, the more I'm just like, I'm going to eat it as the chef intended. And so
A woman of culture.
I used to, like, for burgers, I'd be like, oh, like, only, like, the burger and the cheese and, like, lettuce or whatever. But now I'm like, keep the tomato on. We'll keep the pickles. We'll keep the onions. I pretty much eat everything on a burger. Like, I wouldn't take, like, when it's, like, the plain, you know, lettuce, onion, tomato, pickle, whatever, all that jazz. I'd be eating everything, and I honestly, now I prefer it with all that stuff on. I do think, like, I think pickles complement a burger well. So.
I think so too, but I don't want too much of it. Like anything, it needs to balance
anything
out.
in moderation. Okay. I have 2 short ones left. How many do you have?
I don't really care much for my other ones, so
Okay.
I'll
skip one of them, actually. I just have one thought on this last one because I disagree with it. Chocolate chunks / chips are off on ice cream.
I saw that and thought of you. I was going to send it to you.
You literally changed what ice cream you got to my ice cream. So.
I had been doing the Belgian chocolate before,
anyway,
which did have chunks in it.
All of this to say, I disagree with this because I used to, as someone who regularly has pints of chocolate ice cream in my freezer and has a regular like nightly snack of ice cream, I used to get just like plain chocolate because growing up I was like, oh, like I love chocolate, that's my favorite. I didn't venture too far into the realm of like other flavors for whatever reason. As much as I love sweets, I cannot get behind like the crazy flavors of like Ben and Jerry's or whatever.
Like, we just never have.
So I'm very just like simple in my like tried and true ice cream preferences. And I don't know when I tried chocolate chip ice cream for the first time, but just like the extra crunch, like my ice cream experience is enhanced so much by it that like having regular chocolate at home, obviously I have chocolate just like when I'm out at an ice cream shop, but just like if it's just a plain pint, I had to have chocolate recently because I think our mom, when she was staying here watching Vegas, she did grocery shopping and she got like a pint of chocolate ice cream that I then finished. And I was like, it just doesn't hit the same. I need to like crunch down on something. So I disagree.
Well, if that's all,
That is all.
we hope you guys liked this episode. Make sure you guys give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you're watching the video version.
We have a podcast Instagram called According To. Sometimes we interact with you guys on there. You guys can send us like what am I looking for? Episode ideas that you want to see in the future. It can be like bring back an episode that we've done but haven't done in a while, or if you have a brand new fresh idea that you want us to try out, let us know.
With that, we will talk to you guys next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.